How's it going, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the F1 2020 My Team Career Mode, where we're bringing Brabham back to the very top of Formula 1. In the last episode, we had the French Grand Prix, and an absolute crazy ending to the video, with Kvyat trying to hold it up the inside, getting over the curb, and then all the other cars stopping right behind him and not moving. I've never seen that before. I've seen a couple of comments from the last video. It does seem to happen in certain situations, but I just thought it was crazy. And fortunately, we managed to get a P10 out of it as well. Heading into the Austrian Grand Prix, we're starting to catch up with the real Formula 1 grid now, and it's a track that I really enjoy, and hopefully we can have a good one. We have had a couple of upgrades as well. Nothing major. We are going to save our resource points for Silverstone, where we're going to have a couple of big upgrades coming for Silverstone, Hungary, I believe. But Haas are still ahead of us. They've been catching up to that midfield pack, but we are now effectively quicker than AlphaTauri, which is great news for us, especially with our rivalry with Gasly. Before we get started, I had a couple of questions about my t-shirt and a couple of episodes ago. This is from Footy Kids AU. It's a friend of mine's business, so I thought I'd promote him, help him out. This is a classic Napoli kit. If you guys are into football or soccer, wherever you're watching, go and check it out because they do some awesome kits, and the retro stuff is absolutely wicked as well. Heading into our practice programs now, the car felt pretty good throughout practice. I was reasonably fast, within the top 15 at least, which was good. Mick did okay, as always, pretty standard with Mick at the moment. He's not really performing, but that's right, we are making a decision later in this episode whether we keep Mick on or not. Having said that, I made a couple of setup changes that personally I didn't actually feel worked all that well. So I ran very basic with the setup, but it's a track I feel very comfortable at with the quick corners. This section here through these two lefts, by far our worst corners. The long sweeping corners are where the car struggles the most. I just can't get the front to turn in. Something that I've got planned to try and help, but we need to do some upgrades to try and make that better, but that's what makes this series so good. And now heading into qualifying, a little bit gloomy. I was really good through turn one, very good through turn one. I was able to use fourth gear and carry a pretty good speed and get a good exit, and then up into turn 2 or 3, depending if you can count that kink in the middle of the straight as a corner. Good exit, and then coming into the final 2 corners really quick through here. 6th gear, drop it down into 5th, get on at power, good exit, not running over track limits. I dropped a wheel on the exit there, you could see, so P16 at the end of that run, which was pretty good. I was reasonably happy with my lap, but I knew there was more in it. And then as you can see, coming through here, I used to use 5th this time and carried really good speed, got a decent exit, but I gained more through the middle. Purple sector 1, which was really good. And you can see 3/10 up here, lost a little bit on the exit, I carried too much speed into the corner, and then it kind of glitched out a little bit with the times. I lost a bit of time somewhere, and it said that I was down on my lap, and then I ended up going 3/10 faster, which was a bit weird, but we ended up P11 in qualifying 1. Really good session for us. Mick in P19, not too bad, ahead of Lando Norris. He must have had a problem. He was really far off. He must have had some sort of problem. Now into Q2 through turn 1 again. I used 5th gear because I felt pretty good, but the car slid a little bit on the exit, didn't quite get enough, and then this is where we're struggling. Have to kind of get on the curb to try and get the front to turn in, and then you have to late apex this. You can see I'm just struggling with the front. I can't get it to the apex and drive out the corner properly. And coming around the last corner, I ran wide. I lost a bit of time there, which wasn't a clean lap. I waited till the end. I only had 1 set of tyres to use, and it was P14 for us. I reckon, another 10th, and we're getting close to Raikkonen towards the top 10. So I definitely lost a 10th on that lap plus from where I probably was previously, but it is what it is. P14 is not a bad result. We're ahead of our rival Gasly, which is very important, and hopefully we can have a good race.
Good afternoon and welcome to Spielberg, and to a circuit that in one form or another has held every Austrian Grand Prix in the championship, except the very first back in 1964. It was at this race that John Watson lost a bet and his beard when he took Team Penske's only F1 victory in 1976. If anything, the stakes are even higher today, with 25 points available for victory and a crucial advantage in the championship fight. It's one of the shortest laps on the calendar today then, with 7 rights and just 3 lefts, making up the 10 corners of this high-speed circuit. Turn 2 is barely a corner at all. They'll be flat out through there, a left-hand kink into the uphill braking zone of Turn 3. turns 1, 3 and 4 are all potential opportunities to overtake. Joining us today to oversee all the thrills and spills, it's Anthony Davidson. And great to see you. How are you feeling about the race today, and how are the circuit conditions from what you've seen?
Well, it's looking a bit cold out there, if I'm honest. These tyres have quite a narrow operating window in terms of the temperatures they need to extract the best grip. So with a cold track surface, it's going to be harder to keep those temperatures up, which will lead to lower grip and maybe more mistakes.
Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, and it's Valtteri Bottas that completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Vettel, Max Verstappen and Albon, Stroll, Ricciardo, Perez and Carlos Sainz, Giovinazzi, Raikkonen, Esteban Ocon, Mr. Monaco, Grosjean, Magnussen, Daniel Kvyat and Pierre Gasly, Schumacher, Russell, Latifi and Lando Norris starts from the back of the grid. And now it's time to head down to the track.
Ready for the Austrian Grand Prix now, and I feel like qualifying went pretty well. That's probably where the car is. Maybe I outperformed it a little bit. Haas was able to beat both Mags and Grosjean in qualifying as they've taken a step with their upgrades for the car, which for us is great news. I think getting out of Q1 is a result in itself. This is a track with very tight margins. You've got not a lot of gap between the cars. A 10th would have put us 2 or 3 places higher. So I felt pretty comfortable. The car feels good. So let's get into the race. We will be doing a one-stop race from the softs to the mediums. Again, try and get that track position. There's a lot of overtaking opportunities here with the 3 DRS zones, but I feel like if we can get in front of some people and get a good start, then we'll be on our way to a good result today. Ready for the start of the Austrian Grand Prix. Ocon just in front, Raikkonen ahead, Grosjean just behind us, and away we go. Good run in there. See if I can tuck in behind Ricciardo here. Wasn't comfortable trying to go past him as that. Raikkonen has just decided to have a proper crack at us. Gonna try and make it up the inside here. Everyone should back off. Oh, Raikkonen sent it up the inside. I'll follow him. That's a good move from Raikkonen. And I'll follow him through there. A little bit of a yellow flag, but that's alright. Ocon's going to stream past us. Was that Ricciardo? Danny Rick. For now. That Renault should be a lot quicker than us, so we'll tuck in behind, try and follow him a bit, then stay on my... Okay, we're right. Pressure from Giovinazzi now. Oh, what is that understeer? Oh my god. Okay, well, fair bit of understeer to begin with. I suppose heavy car even. Heavy circuit, that doesn't make any sense. That's fine. Try and catch up to Ricciardo if I can. Got a bit of a gap to Giovinazzi. He must have made a mistake as I've chopped in front of him, but hopefully these guys can just battle away and catch up as we have done. I'm pretty good through the first sector. For turn 1 particularly, I feel very good, especially in qualifying. Long corners where the car's just not nimble enough for my liking. I haven't got enough downforce, so I'm pleased that we've saved our resource points for the next round after this, because I'll be able to do a pretty big upgrade heading into, I think, probably Hungary, which will benefit us a lot around there. You can see through sector 2 and 3, they just kind of clear off a bit. They've got more grip than I do. First sector. I've got DRS now. I can latch onto the back of these with DRS, then we can gap Giovinazzi, who hasn't got DRS behind us. That's turned out the corner. Jeff's telling me I've got problems with the MG UK. I'm very confident I changed it for for a fresh one prior to this race, because I knew from the last round in France that we had that issue. So it's kind of weird how I've got issues when I'm pretty confident I changed it. Someone needs to tell Ken to do his job properly, by the sounds of it. I suppose that would be me, because I'm team boss. I'll tell him off, don't worry guys. Not really catching Ricciardo here. Just cruising behind everyone. Good run, maybe we might have an opportunity. Not really. They're just quicker in a straight line. Use my ERS, but just don't feel comfortable that I'm close enough to make a proper move just yet. Both get a bit of oversteer on the exit of turn 4. The little kink that's flat in literally any car doesn't really count as a corner. I don't know why they've got it in as a corner, but I suppose that was turn 4. Giovinazzi's not really making any inroads in us, which is good. Turning away too early there. Pretty big train up ahead with 5 or 6 cars. Got a good run now. Use my ERS, but just got too much oversteer. I was too eager on the throttle there, which allowed Danny Rick to get. Thought about it. I didn't want to run into the back of him, so I just thought I'd go inside, and if I can make it, then great. If not, then I've got enough time to stop. Look at that. Oh, try and turn in, the thing's just deciding not that it doesn't want to today. To use for us, Giovinazzi is dropping back. He's not got the pace without DRS. Just in a solid position in 12th to get a decent result. Hopefully we can get points. I'm not quick enough, really. I'm relying on DRS, otherwise I feel like I'd be right back there with Giovinazzi. Just not quick enough. They're pretty good down the straight in comparison to our car. Somewhere we need to improve, really. I'm not confident I'll be able to get past Ricciardo here. Maybe on the medium tyre, but we can get an uppercut great. But the good news is we keep pulling away from Giovinazzi. He's not really making any inroads on me. I'm using the DRS in this section here to try and close up the gap. As you can see, I'm not really within DRS at the moment. If I lose DRS, then that is me done in this race, trying to keep up with them. Like that. Use my ERS to try and get it for the next section here. And that is not good. Giovinazzi may well start to come at me. Just haven't got the pace in comparison to the Renaults in particular. There's a bit of a train forming behind. It's strange that they're not overtaking each other as I run a touch wide there. You can see, without that DRS, they're just going to pull away, and Giovinazzi is coming. There's not many laps left until my pit stop window, I think maybe 4 or 5. Oh, that curve throws you so wide. The guys have come into the pits now, Ricciardo included in that. So hopefully, pit stop, he gets held up a little bit, not likely, but you can always hope. Giovinazzi did get ahead of Bottas and the other cars, so he's got clean air in front of him to try and catch me. I don't know if they're doing a 2-stop or whether it's Bottas is on the hards. I've just seen as I make a mistake there, so I'm trying to do too many things at once. I don't know if Ricardo, they've pitted a bit earlier than I have, 3 laps earlier. So are they going on the hard tyre, and can we make this medium tyre work long enough to should have more pace on the tyre, but that might just negate the pace in the car that they have over me in comparison to what the tyre will give me in grip. We'll have to wait and see to find out. Run a bit wide there, got away with that one. Back ahead of Hamilton. See Raikkonen up ahead, 3.8 seconds. I'll let him go. Back off. So I will get DRS. Very quickly, but just to give me a bit, as much pace as possible. Hamilton is on the mediums, Bottas on the hards. It'll be interesting to enter the race if Hamilton starts getting a bit of tyre wear. Here he comes, a few ahead, Raikkonen and Perez, I think the Stroll included, even. Stroll does get out ahead. Maybe Raikkonen might get held up slightly by us, but hopefully this pit stop time will be good. Good pit stop there. Love that from the boys. Great pit stop. Behind us with Grosjean, we're in P15 at the moment. Schumacher's not pitted yet. There's a few not pitted, so we do need to see these tyres for 20 laps. It's a short lap, so it's not too bad. The softs lasted to lap 15 and felt like they were fine, so hopefully press on now. We've got to make a decision at the end of this Grand Prix or leading into the next one, what we should do with our teammate. We should have just enough if we want to change, or we keep it to the end of the season. You guys let me know in the video. This is sort of our last chance to make that decision. That's been held down there. That didn't work out for him. We're back into P12. Fair way off Raikkonen and Ricciardo. Raikkonen has been gapped by Ricciardo. Ricciardo's had a good pit stop there. Managed to get the undercut on Kimi, but Ricciardo's on the hard tyre. So will that mean towards the end of this race those guys on the hard to come at us? Or have we got enough pace at the moment to gap those on the hard tyre? Have more pace than them? I just said that before. Don't get on that curb, and what did I do? Got right on that curb and had another oversteer moment. Such an idiot. Told myself to do something, or not to do something, and I've just gone and done it. Behind. I mean, at the moment I'm hoping for a boring race, really. I haven't got the pace to catch up with the guys ahead. I don't particularly want to start fighting Ocon, because Giovinazzi will join that party very quickly as well. DRS has kind of shown that once I don't have DRS, I can't really keep up. 3.8 seconds, they've been battling. See if that gap changes at all for the next few laps. I'm starting to catch a little bit, which is good, but I felt like I've been in a really good rhythm those last few laps. Just driving smoothly, being really consistent, and the gap's slowly coming down, but as soon as I start talking, I make a mistake. It's alright, I'm okay with that. Better than no commentary, I suppose. These gaps keep toing and throwing as looks like Ricciardo sent one up the inside into turn 2. Hopefully that means that we can start to just reel them in a little bit. Be battling into the next one as well, turn 4. DRS range now as well, which isn't good. Right there, we're in DRS range. Have to just fend hard. Not many laps left, 6 laps, 5 laps at the end of this. See him there. The gap ahead's not really getting any better, so this is the sector he's quicker than me. Just a little bit there. See how much he gains. Just a bit of ERS. Just quicker through that middle sector. Those long corners aren't suiting our car. Good run out of the last corner there. Should be alright down this straight. With the next long one, if I can get a good run out of turn 1. Power, use the ERS. That should be alright. I've got a couple of changes in mind for the R&D, which should be coming. I think I want to go for a pretty major chassis upgrade. Our aero is still not great, but I think the chassis, if we can make the car a bit more light and nimble just to get through those corners, would be better. It's the high speed, I'm not struggling all that much. I'm pretty slow speed where we're trying to get the car stop turned and rotated. All those longer corners as the car's leaning and leaning on the tyre with you've got reasonably high G-force for a long period of time. That's where we're struggling. Like these corners here, I'm trying to get the car in, but it just won't happen, and that's where we're losing time. As you can see now, I have to go inside. Haven't got much left. I'd rather use it for the next straight. I was worried he was going to stand that there, but luckily he didn't. And a bit of ERS, use as much as I can. I need to keep conserving it as well for the rest of the lap now, in the area where I am losing time to him. I thought I was going to keep him at bay for the majority of this lap, or the rest of this race, but I have to drive pretty perfect for it not to be an issue. There's a yellow flag somewhere, not sure what that's for. Stroll had a problem. It's come us up to P11 now. It's good for us because P11 we've got a buffer. One of our objectives for our sponsors is to finish in 12th, and I was concerned that we might not achieve that today. Now that Stroll's gone, I'm not too worried. Hopefully we can keep 11th. I want to try and finish as high up as possible. I'm not going to give this place up as easy as that because of that reason, but at the same time I'm not going to damage the car and lose this money. In the meantime, should be okay now. Lewis Hamilton wins the Austrian Grand Prix. Try and get that spot on the power. I'm going to keep him rich. Last lap, we've got to use everything we've got to try and keep him behind, get away from that curb because it does induce a lot of oversteer. You can see how much it catches through this section here. Get on the power. DRS as well. Oh, we should be okay now. Can't imagine he's going to come past us. Just no mistakes through the first one. Bit of curb through the next, and there we have it. End of the Grand Prix. P11. Very happy with that. We did not have the pace, really, in comparison to everyone else, but we managed to stick in our position. Ricciardo and the guys ahead just were too quick. Kimi Räikkönen, driver of the day, he did go onto the hard compound tyres and he had good pace on them as well. Maybe we could have gone for that, I'm not too sure. Maybe Ocon doesn't reel us in as quick, but he might have got to us a bit quicker. So I think the medium as a second tyre was a good option. Mercedes celebrating with Lewis Hamilton winning the race, and I'm pretty happy with that. The car didn't feel great, but it's a track I'm pretty good at. I really enjoy it, so I was able to get a good result. I'll take P11. We're ahead of Gasly, I believe, as well, which is great for the rivalry. And for the championship, best points and best positions, Leclerc in third and Bottas in second place. Lewis Hamilton celebrating. And will he be celebrating his home Grand Prix this weekend at Silverstone? Let me know what you think. Let me know if you're excited. I can't wait for it. I think it's going to be a wicked Grand Prix, and it's such a cool track. It's the first time in a long time I've not been there for the race now that I'm living in Australia, so I've missed out this year, but so's everyone, so it's a shame. Hopefully we can get fans back to the Grand Prix and back to races around the world as soon as possible, because without the fans there, the atmosphere is so much worse. So let me know what you think is going to happen this weekend at Silverstone. Will Lewis Hamilton win, or will Bottas make a charge? And will Racing Point get a good result? Who are they going to choose? I'm not too sure. I've seen this morning as I've woken up that Perez is not racing this weekend. Hopefully he gets better as quickly as possible and recovers from coronavirus, and hopefully we'll have a good weekend this weekend at Silverstone. Into the results: Hamilton, Bottas, Leclerc, Vettel, Verstappen, Albon, Perez with a good result there. Ricciardo did well. Sainz dropped back right at the end there. I didn't see that in the beginning. We finished P11. Great result for us, ahead of Ocon, Giovinazzi, ahead of our rival Gasly. Norris really struggled in comparison to his heroics that happened there in the official races, and he finished on the podium. And Mick Schumacher, P19, not quick enough. Who are we going to go for in the next episode? I won't. If I have to make a decision now, I'll leave the episode early. So we'll have to wait and see. But let's get into the highlights. Really good start. Off the line, managed to get past a couple. I was just a bit maybe a bit too conservative. I tried to have a look, and then a few people went around the outside of me. I pinched myself too much, and that's how Ricciardo got ahead, and the AlphaTauris. And then Kimi sent one right up the inside of everyone into turn 2, and I was able to follow him up there and gain a few positions. You can see struggling a little bit with Giovinazzi and Ocon, I believe, behind me, and then I was able to get into the DRS zones, stick with the Renault of Ricciardo for a while, but I didn't have enough pace. As soon as I dropped out of that 1 second gap, I had absolutely nothing, and I couldn't keep up to him. But at this point in the Grand Prix, I felt like maybe we could get points, but unfortunately, as the Grand Prix progressed, we weren't able to have the pace, and once the pit stops came, it was pretty boring. Managed to run a little bit wide there. I think that's still legal. Pretty sure it's still legal. And then towards the end of this race, coming under pressure from Ocon, and I had to defend so hard. He was able to go around the outside of me there, but managed to block him off quite nicely and didn't run too wide. I managed to make the corner just enough. You can use a lot on entry into turn 1. It's really flat curbs. You can open the corner up as best as possible. There's Stroll going off, and that boosts us up to P11, which is a good result. I'm pretty happy with P11. I think Ocon definitely had more pace than us, but it just wasn't enough. My use of ERS was really good, and there we have it, P11 in the Austrian Grand Prix. Rear wing main plate has come in. Now it is time to choose our teammate. So it is time to renegotiate with our driver. The only F1 driver we can afford, I thought we would have more money than this actually, is Nicholas Latifi. And based off the comments that I had from everyone else, in the comments for a few episodes ago, people were saying that I think the general consensus was to keep Mick on at least for the rest of the season and then change him over. So that is what we're going to do. His pace has got better, but he's not performing to the level that I need him to. So I will invest that money, that 4.9 million, in him, and then maybe if we've got enough, we'll try and boost the HQ up a little bit, make some changes, and we'll keep Mick till the end of the season. And at the end of the season, I will do another vote. I'm going to save up a fair bit. If you look at the drivers, I want at least 10 million in the bank, just to make sure if we want to go for someone like an Ocon or a Sainz or someone like that, that might be a good option for us. But we'll wait till the end of the season. Mick is staying with us, and we'll see how we go towards the end of the season with him. I'm going to just offer him a flat rate. I'm going to go 2.6, offer him the big bucks. He has improved, so I think it's only fair. I want to be safe. I want to make sure I get him. Our cash, we've got enough cash. It's not a problem. 2.6, and hopefully he accepts. Sending out offer. There we go. Accepted. 2.6 million. Hasn't really changed all that much. Only by 100k, which is fine. and Mick 64 rated, we can still boost him up towards the end of the season. It'll be good because the boosts that we make to our HQ will also come into effect for our driver that we pick at the end of the season for our Season 2 car as well. Going to do some reaction training for Mick, boost his awareness. I haven't got enough there. And then we're going to go for a funded team event. I'm going to spend a little bit of money, but it will boost all the departments as well. So the chassis department is filled up, so I want to get this update done as quickly as possible, so we're going to go for front downforce upgrade. That is going to boost us ahead of Alfa Romeo and AlphaTauri, and that is going to help us out so much. Develop that one, can't rush it, it will come in a bit later on, but that's fine. So you can see here I've got 2 pending. This is proof I have changed it, so hopefully in the next round might just change this one as well, just to make sure. All the others are fine. Gearbox wear is absolutely fine. No worries about that. So we'll leave it there. Thank you ever so much for watching. As always, a great result, I think, in P11. No points, but I think that's okay. We got our sponsor goals done, which is really important. And hopefully, with a few upgrades to come, we can really start to push for points a bit more consistently. As always, thank you ever so much for watching. I really appreciate all the support on these videos, and be sure to subscribe to the channel. Follow me on social media, Sam Brabs on Twitter and Sam Brabham on Instagram for more F1 2020 My Team content. And I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.